G'day guys, Will from GameFace here, and I'm down at the Bentley Footy Club ahead of their massive Pride Cup game on Saturday against the Lyndhurst Lightning in the women's and of course the Cheltenham Rosellas in the men's. I'm joined by Anuschka Reinhardt, and she's happily agreed to talk to us ahead of the big game. And Anuschka, it's I guess it's an experience sort of close to your heart.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's an amazing experience to be a part of. I obviously have a very personal connection to it. I have my own story about it. I came out when I was 18, and I've sort of, I'm 26 now. I've gone through a journey with that whole experience, and sport was always something that I've done my whole life, and I guess having those two intertwine was really important to me. And sport, and especially footy, has sort of given me actually a safe space to sort of be accepted in and go through that journey. I'm still going through it. Today you never really stop sharing that part of yourself with people that you meet. So yeah, it's been a journey. Yep,
fantastic. It's probably not the easiest thing to do, especially at 18 years of age. Talk us through your experiences coming out, and how difficult was that?
It was really difficult. I think when I was younger, 16, 17, I always felt a little bit different. Never could really put my finger on it as to why that was. Got to 17 and 18. And sort of, realise that yes, I am gay. That's something that is a part of me. It's not necessarily, 100% who I am. It's just a part of me. And I think when I came out, I came out to my older brother first. He was my best friend, still is, and that sort of made it a little bit easier. And I was really lucky. He had a really positive and supportive reaction. And then he told my parents, so I didn't actually do that myself. He did it for me, and they were supportive as well. So I was really lucky in that way to have a supportive family. I have a lot of stories of friends where unfortunately it wasn't, that easy, and it wasn't that supportive. Yep. So I count myself to be very lucky, but it was still incredibly hard. And like I've said, it never really stops. Every new person you meet, yep, you share that story of yourself, and they assume you might have a partner, it might be a boyfriend or a male, and when that's not the case, you sort of come out all over again. Yep.
Yeah, it's never easy, but of course society's probably changed a little bit, I guess, in the last sort of couple of years, and especially through things like the Pride round, and which we've seen at AFL level and now at community footy. So I guess hopefully that sort of makes it a little bit easier for, I guess, people today and in future generations to make it a lot easier to come out and, I guess, be yourself.
Oh, absolutely. I think, you look at the AFL level and the exposure that has had recently. You look at Sydney and St Kilda, obviously the two AFL clubs that have sort of paved the way with their Pride round. You think about, 95% of people that might not have an impact on, but you really got to work towards that percentage of people who might not feel comfortable with themselves, and they get to see that on TV. They get to see it so open, and that it's, it's not just about the LGBTIQ community. I think it's overall accepting diversity as well, yep, not forgetting that. And I think it's sort of a safe space for them to be like, what, if I am playing footy, if I am in this environment, I'm going to get accepted. I'm not going to get judged on that. Yep. It'll be more about the sport and who I am as a person. So I think that exposure has made leaps and bounds, and it's really created a safe space in sport to create that, and that's filtered down into the community level as well now, which is fantastic. You look at the SNFL, they're adapting it now, the SEWFL adapting it as well. It's fantastic, and I just hope that it continues in that way, really. Oh,
100%. It's massively important, but you spoke of safe spaces, and obviously the Bentley Footy Club, they're getting around it this weekend with the Pride Cup for the men's and the women's. How have you found the environment of the Bentley Footy Club from the women's point of view?
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe I'm a little bit biased, but obviously it's been a really positive experience. This is my second year at Bentley playing, and me and my partner actually joined last year, and we went through that whole thing of, we're joining a new footy club. You're a little bit apprehensive, I think, sometimes. You're not quite sure how people are going to react. And they were super supportive. There was no issues at all. It was almost like we're just two football players playing footy, and that's what I loved about it. Everything else didn't really matter. You go out on that field, your teammates, that's it. You support each other out there. So I really loved that aspect, and that Bentley as a club really makes you feel that way, is that when you're out there supporting each other as a team, it's the same off the field. It's that community vibe, and and that's sort of what's made us feel really comfortable, and everyone's been supportive. We haven't felt any different, which has just been brilliant.
Oh, 100%. And well done to the Bentley Footy Club for creating an environment like that. It's absolutely fantastic. So I guess, what's it like playing in the same team as your partner? Is it a little bit different to just a regular teammate? Do you look out for her a little bit more? Do you sort of a bit worried when she gets
Yeah.
close to the ball? Is it how is it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's definitely a new experience. I think, playing last season together and on the field, you can't help but look out a little bit more, or when they get hurt, you find yourself running over a little bit quicker, and obviously because you do have that little bit of a different relationship. But I think at the same time, the best part is we are also footy teammates at the same time. So when we are out there, it's a teammate feel as well. But yeah, of course, there's a little bit of a different care factor, I think, as well. Yeah. But I think, what Bentley's able to achieve is that even that doesn't matter. That's okay too. We're just the same. We're just teammates, and all the girls have really gotten around us, and it's been really great. Oh,
100%. What I've noticed is with a lot of women's football teams, there's a lot more of a high percentage of LGBTI players within that group. Is it, I guess, because there's a bit more of an accepting atmosphere within the women's sphere as opposed to the men's?
Yeah, I think, that's definitely something you can look at. I very much believe that in the female environment, and this is personally based, but you look at the AFLW, I think there's a lot more role models out there that have been quite open about their relationships or their partners, and I think in the men's it's still a little bit, you just don't see it as much. Whether there is or there isn't, I don't think that's up for discussion, but it's just that role models, they aren't necessarily there, but now with the AFLW growing so quickly, there are those role models, and I think it might be a little bit more just talked about and accepted, and hopefully I think it is changing for the men as well. I think, ultimately the men AFL teams have, brought this about, which is fantastic. But yeah, you just tend to see it more openly with females, and I think those role models are just there a bit more, to be honest. Yeah,
and I suppose it comes down to things like the Pride Cup in terms of breaking down those stereotypes and the traditional sort of macho attitudes that used to be really prevalent in men's footy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and you always hear about, everything that happens in the news and the locker room chit chatter and all of that whole topic that's been, in the media for the last few years. I think that's also starting to break down, those barriers are broken, and it's not just AFL. You look at any of the sports, I think a lot of sports are starting to adapt these Pride rounds to break down those barriers, and that's fantastic. Even if it's just once a year, I think the effect that they have, is ongoing. Just it's one event, but it sort of sets the tone for everything else. Yeah. And yeah, it's really good.
100%. And that's something that the SFNL's done particularly well over the last couple of years. And then now it's finally Bentley's turn to host the Pride Cup here on Saturday. So it'll be absolutely fantastic. I understand you got the rainbow goalpost paddings, and there'll be a fair bit of a rainbow colour to it. Rainbow jumpers as well. Apparently they look tremendous.
Yeah, so it was really fantastic. We got together with Sarah Radlow, who's does a lot for the team as well behind the scenes, and we sort of came up with a leadership group. We had a look at a few different designs that we came up with ourselves, and we've then put the vote to the girls. So it was a really communal thing, and we all voted together as a team on the final design. So I think everyone sort of has a connection to it as well, which is fantastic. And those designs, they'll be finalised, and we'll wear them with pride on the day. And I think it's just such a lovely tone for the whole game to have that representation, and to have those jumpers, and it's something that we get to keep as well for memory, and just to be a part of something bigger. You know,
And maybe steer clear of that middle. It's a little bit muddy. You don't want to get those dirty and ruin the colours on those. But it must fill you with a bit of pride to actually put one on and really celebrate the LGBTI community out on the footy field.
Yeah, it was one of when I heard that Bentley's actually gets to do the Pride round. I didn't think that I would have such a big reaction within myself, but I actually did. I got really proud and a little bit emotional as well when it got shared with me, because it is close to home, and we don't necessarily always get these opportunities to be a part of something like that. So for our footy club, for Bentley to be that club that's now involved, I think just sets a great precedence for everyone, for the community, and for everyone in Bentley, that's a value that we stand for, and those are our club values, and there's no grey area with that. We're just inclusive, and we accept diversity, and at community level, what better thing is there? That's what it's all about, bringing people together and sharing that experience.
Could not agree more. And I guess what's the feeling around the whole club, because the men are getting around it too, and the women as well. What's the feeling from around the whole club?
Really positive. I think we've got a really good club culture down here at the moment. A lot of the senior boys actually support the senior girls as well, even the under-19s and the juniors. I think all up, everyone's really involved. Everyone's going to have a different role to play. We're all super proud to be a part of it, and I think everyone will wear the jerseys with pride, men and women, and we all stand for the same value, which is just fantastic. I think it's so important for the whole club to get involved and not just have one team or the other, and that's what Bentley has managed to achieve for this time, and it's just amazing. really good.
Yeah, fantastic. And I guess what's the overall message, or I guess what do you hope to achieve from having the Pride Cup here at Bentley?
For us to say as a club is, we're an inclusive club. We believe in community footy. Like I said, my own personal sort of, experience with it has been really positive, and that if someone younger, older, doesn't matter, you feel that is something that you might need to share with people, or it's something that was holding you back from sport. I think a lot of the time people sometimes don't start a sport because they're uncomfortable with sharing that part of themselves. You can come here, you can be supported. We're always going to be here, and for anyone in the club already, if you need anyone to talk to, we're here as well. And that's the beautiful thing about footy. I mean, accepting diversity is a given, but footy is another way of just sort of aiding that movement and really breaking down those barriers and saying, we all play footy. We're all human beings. Let's support each other. It doesn't matter what you're about or what your sexual orientation is or whatever. It's all positive.
That's awesome and amazingly said. Anuschka, really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me tonight.
Thank you.
Be a massive day down here at Bentley on Saturday. And look, I hope it's absolutely massive and Bentley can come away with the win. Thanks again for chatting to us and best of luck.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me. And I hope that everyone comes down and please support the cause. So please come down and watch. That'd be great.
Fantastic.
No worries.
Cheers, Anuschka.
Cheers.
Get your GameFace on.